Right, I'm recording now. We'll just make sure that this is working. Okay. Recording, save the changes, and we'll see how it goes. If you want to ask any questions, you can do. I've noticed there's a couple of new members joined and immediately posted a letter without anything else, without any hello, how's this group work, or any of that shit. I just join and immediately post a letter. Maybe expecting some assessment from someone. Maybe. However, we will see. Someone sent me a PM with a letter with, no, hello, Kev, can you help us out? I'm a poor nurse, blah, blah, blah. They just sent me a letter and said, can you evaluate this? So, I didn't want to be rude, but my immediate response was, well, you can possibly guess as an Englishman, what my response was. However, I refrained. So, new member Sarah, I'm writing to request your neurological assessment of Mr. Weir, whose features are suggestive of multiple sclerosis. Mr. Weir is a smoker and has had a long history of obesity, together with depression, for which he has been taking Zoloft. Okay. On the 29th, Mr. Weir came complaining of stress and tiredness. On examination, no abnormality or abnormalities were found. No abnormality was found except for a high body mass index of blah, blah, blah. Therefore, I ordered some blood tests. Okay, so that's it. You didn't do anything else? You didn't talk to him about anything? You didn't advise him to modify his lifestyle? He just turned up and says, oh, doc, I'm very tired and stressed. He's a bit of a fatty, and you didn't say anything to him. Okay. On review 1 week later, his previous symptoms showed an improvement, in addition to weakness in his left leg. So what, right, that shouldn't be a capital, it should be a weakness. Now, how you join information in a sentence, this is not how you do it, right? Where does this come from? So on review 1 week later, his previous symptoms showed no improvement. So contrast. However, hang on. He now complained of a weakness in his left leg. A weakness in his left leg. I don't know why that's worked like that. Oh, okay. The test results revealed, now it's either a high cholesterol level or it's high cholesterol levels. So you either have an article or you have it as a plural, levels in general, okay? So it's one or the other. Along with decreased, along with a decrease, if it's a noun, decreased is a verb, with decrease in his hemoglobin levels. And I think you need an A. Is that how you spell how do you spell hemoglobin? Is it H-A? Yeah, that's it. Consequently, I advised him to modify his lifestyle, stop smoking, and to control his diet, not controlling his diet. 2 plus infinitive. Okay. On review today, Mr. Weir presented with a complaint of dizziness, accompanied by recent blackouts twice. 2 recent blackouts besides his previous symptoms. But the kind of dizziness, it wasn't now. The dizziness wasn't accompanied by. This happened at a different time. Complaint with the client. Dizziness as well as, not accompanied by. accompanied by means it happened at the same time. I don't think it did. As well as 2 recent blackouts beside his previous symptoms. Additionally, he reported a tingling sensation in his hands and a continuing, well, it will be continuation of the weakness in his left leg. The examination, what examination? You haven't introduced it yet, so you can't use a definite article, so use a pronoun instead. His examination revealed a loss of sensation in both hands and diminished left patellar reflexes. Thus, a CT scan CT scan was requested for the head and lumbar spine to determine the cause of his condition. In view of the above, I'm referring Mr. Weir for full neuro assessment for investigations, including an MRI, because it's countable. Please do not hesitate. So, please, for any who hesitate to contact me, please do not hesitate to contact me if you have any queries. Okay. There we go. Oops. Any queries? Okay. So that's not so bad. Not so bad. So we've got preposition, past tense verb form, impassive. Change that. Article, either A, high cholesterol level, or it's an abstract noun, levels. 2 plus infinitive, to control. 2 recent blackouts, not blackouts twice, and article, pronoun. So fair bit of grammar here we have to have a look at. Okay, what's this next one? Thank you for seeing Miss Betty Johnson, who is being discharged today, to your follow-up care following Anne. It can be counted an uneventful write-off on the replacement on the 25th, etc., etc. During the post-operative period, because it's a particular period, so we need a definite article, Miss Johnson complained of uncontrolled post-operative pain, which was managed. Why did you use past perfect? Had managed. That makes no sense. Which was managed with patient-controlled analgesia. In addition, her hemoglobin was 80 blah, which IVT. Can you count a transfusion? Yes, you can. So we need an article, which, sorry, should be an IVT, transfusion and sulfate were commenced. Consequently, her hemoglobin level reached 12 milligrams. In addition, she also received S16 milligrams, a routine warfarin regime for aortic valve replacement. I don't know if these are typos or if this is how you actually punctuate a letter. As a result of HB and have been monitored. Have been, why is it present perfect passive? Have been. So I'm not really sure why that is passive. Not sure what that means. Miss Johnson's wound kept clean. Well, we need an auxiliary verb. B, ama is, was, were. Miss Johnson's wound, or Miss Johnson's wound was or is being kept clean. Was kept clean, and the dressing and surgical clips were removed on the 2nd and 8th post-operative day, respectively. I hope these punctuation things are typos because this is terrible. She has good post-operative recovery. Therefore, she, well, right, has. We usually say made. We usually say made a good recovery. She made good post-operative recovery. Therefore, she was transferred to rehabilitation unit or the rehabilitation unit. It's a particular unit on the 6th. During the rehabilitation, definite article, it's a particular period. During the rehabilitation management period, she has good mobility. Isn't it had, because this is in the past? Is it not? She had good mobility. Frame use. Trail strick. No idea what. Trail strick. No idea what that is. She has good mobility frame use. What? That's like a compound noun. So is that supposed to be like a verb and a noun? Is it a compound noun? We're supposed to have some helping verbs here. Good. With like frame use, using a frame. No idea what that means. Gentle exercise capacity, again, no idea what that means. That's not a complete sentence, not a complete phrase or clause within a sentence. No idea what that means. However, she requires an assistant for right. She requires an assistant to help her. An assistant to help her with the shower. Because just requiring an assistant a shower or for a shower doesn't necessarily imply anything. She might just want a friend in the shower. But anyway, got to be clear. And why is this capitalized? She gradually became independent. Independence is a state or condition. Independence adjective. She gradually became independent with 2 weeks of rehabilitation or rehabilitative care. Today, Miss Johnson, I don't know why, Miss Johnson is ready to be discharged with a home nursing assistant who will assist her with personal care, with personal and wound care. You don't need to say care twice, with personal and wound care. Her discharge medications, in plural, are warfarin, Ferritab, that should be capitalized, I think. So all your drugs should be capitalized. Warfarin, Noctiferritab, paracetamol, blah, blah, blah. Okay. They should be capitalized if they're brand names. In addition, her next rehab review was scheduled in 2 weeks, and she is advised to consult you in the week. In view of the above, I am concerned about a clinical condition. I would appreciate your further follow-up care, including blood tests, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so again, a fair bit of grammar here needs some attention. Yeah, so article use, verb form, no idea what that means. Verb, article, verb. So I'm not going to go through all this again. You can see there's quite a bit of work needs to be done here. Okay, what's this next one? Shamela, let's have a look. I'm writing to refer Miss Anne Hall, whose symptoms are suggestive of gastroesophageal reflux with or without stricture for your assessment and possible endoscopy. That's right, good. That's pretty good. Regarding Miss Hall's medical social history, she had a tonsillectomy because it's countable in 1993. She has had depression since 2006, so she took fluoxetine for about a year following the diagnosis. Why has we got all these sentences with she? We've got short sentences, she. You can put these into a single sentence, right? Okay, so she had a tonsillectomy in 1993. She has had depression since 2006, which is blah, blah, blah. Additionally, as in extra, additionally, have I spelled that right? No, I'll need another D. Additionally, right, okay, she's had dysphagia since 2012 and she still has a history. Her history hasn't stopped, and has a family history of peptic ulcers. Recently, her coffee intake has increased, present perfect, not is increased, compared to before, and she drinks third-person S verb, alcohol, socially. So a fair bit of grammar to look at there. Okay. On today's visit, on the 18th, Miss Hall complained about dysphagia mainly for solids, which began, why is it passive? Which began 2 weeks ago. Following, don't need that, following an upper respiratory infection that was self-treated by over-the-counter Chinese herbal medicine medication unknown ingredients. That's a long sentence, bit of a long sentence, bit of a nearly a run-on sentence there. So I would watch that. That's a little bit long. On the examination, there were no signs of anxiety and no abnormality was detected. I prescribed pantoprazole, don't know, but if that's a brand name, it should be a capital with the advised, with the advice. And it should be advice, not advise. Advise is a verb, advice is a noun. To reduce coffee and alcohol intake and stop taking OTC meds. Based on the above, I'm referring Ms. Hall to your care. For any management, don't hesitate to contact me if you have any queries. That should be an E. How do you spell queries? I can never remember. Isn't it Q-U? Yeah, that's it. Q-U-E-I-R-I-E-S. Okay. Any queries? Yours sincerely, Dr. Blah, blah, blah. Okie doke. So not too bad. A bit of grammar we have to have a look at there. Not too bad. It seems, I think it's a little bit short. Oops. Where are we? Just have a quick peep at the word count. 196 words. 196. Okay, that's not so bad. Not so bad. What's the next one? Let's have a look. Hosni, thank you for saving Mr. Taylor, a 38-year-old married man. I don't know why that's important. I would, if you put the DOB here, you don't need to put the age in the introduction. And I don't know why a married man, why that's particularly important. So I wouldn't include that. Mr. Taylor, a married man under your supervision. So that should be, if you did leave that in, it should have a comma for seems to under your supervision for movement and prevent osteoporosis. Okay. Oh yes, we don't need a period after Mr. People keep on doing it. Now, you do with doctor, but not Mr., Mrs., Miss. Okay, so no period. Okay. Mr. Taylor works as a landscape gardener, and I'm not sure why this is relevant. He smokes 25 cigarettes a day and drinks 1 to 2 beers per day. Why is that relevant? What's that got to do with his osteoporosis? I think, as I remember from his case notes, well, it's about, he's a landscape gardener. He hurt his knee and he's anxious about work because that's his living. So he needs to be able to landscape garden to make some income. So that's what he's concerned about. So the smoking and the drinking is irrelevant, nothing to do with anything. So we don't really need that at all. Irrelevant to this particular letter. He gave a history. What? He gave a history. You mean he mentioned or he said he mentioned that he had twisted his left knee right 6 months ago while playing tennis. Okay. Initially on the 12th, Mr. Taylor presented to me the complaints of pain in the left knee joint with my pain in the left knee joint, as well as, because with means it's the same thing. So as well as swelling and difficulty in strengthening the leg. I'm not sure if it's strengthening or straightening because that makes more sense. He's having trouble straightening his leg to make it straight. Although his pain responded to painkillers, He needs limp. He needs limp? What? He limps? Why does he need a limp? That makes no sense. No idea what that means. On the examinations, left knee joint was slightly swollen despite not having any effusion. And the tender spot was present on the medial aspect of the joint. He was commenced of Voltaren, and advice were given to reduce smoking. On subsequent visit, or on the subsequent visit, Mr. Taylor, don't need that, complained that he had intermittent pain along with difficulty in performing daily activities. An examination is active range of power was impaired. Flexion and extension were normal, because there's two of them. Today's visit, his MRI report revealed, we don't need a comma, he has damaged medial cartilage. Mr. Taylor, quite anxious to solve his problem, as he's the only wage earner in his family. Really above, it would be appreciated if you could manage him properly. What? So you think if you don't tell him, he might manage him improperly? So we don't need that adverb. Or if you could manage his condition, that's better. Okay. Should there be any queries, feel free to contact me. Yours sincerely, Doctor. Okay. So that's not so bad. I remember the case notes for this one. I think that's not so bad. Yeah, you could play up a little bit more on the anxiety, on the pain, the landscaping, because that's how he makes his income, etc. But that's not so bad. So we've got one more. Rajesh. Now, I'm not going to do this in future. I noticed that Rajesh joined the group, and without any greeting or word or explanation, immediately posted a letter for assessment. Now, I don't know why he should do that, or who told him that he should do that. I asked him, and well, don't know if it's him. I asked him, and he didn't answer, because immediately joining and posting a letter and expecting immediate free assessment, that's not on. Without even saying, hi, I'm a new member to this group, blah, blah, blah. His very first action, as soon as he joined, was to post a letter. So somebody must have told him to do so. So if I find out who that is, they won't be in the group for much longer. So Mrs. Daniela Stachowicz, or Stachowicz. I'd like to do a question assessment for mention Mrs. Stachowicz, who presented with clinical features of cholithiasis and a suspicion of manifestation or obstruction, and she may require a cholecystectomy. Okay. On review 10 days ago, Mrs. Stachowicz presented with a history of 1 hour duration of epigastric pain, which was initiated, which began after eating foods. Really, not after eating shit, after eating. And was associated with nausea, but no vomiting. Right. So instead of saying, right, now, I mentioned this on the video yesterday, I think, and on a couple of letters that I did today, mixing information. So you put the positives first and then the negatives, or vice versa. So she had this, but she didn't have this. Then she had this and this. Wouldn't it make more sense to like say, so, which was associated with nausea and also fever and dysuria, but no vomiting. So you've got what she does have, and then what she's, what's not associated. Okay, I think that's better. So instead of saying she has this, she doesn't have this, then she has this and this, why not say she has this, but she doesn't have this, etc. Okay, on review after 1 day or a day, Mrs. Stachowicz revisited with complaints of recurring worsening epigastric pain of 2 hours duration associated with vomiting upon examination. Despite having trace amounts because it's a plural noun. Sorry, it's an abstract noun, so we pluralize it. Despite having trace amounts of bilirubin in her urine, mild tenderness on the right upper quadrant of the abdomen. There were no guarding rebound tenderness on the negative Murphy sign. Subsequently, I had the blood test to rule out suspicion or the suspicion of biliary colic and peptic ulcer. On today's review, Mrs. Stachowicz's symptoms have subsided, but she's now anxious due to misinterpretation or fear of having cancer. The test results revealed increased alkaline phosphate. Based on above, I diagnosed her with a possible. Please, okay, right now. That's actually not bad at all, not bad. Just one or two very minor points. Pronouns, articles. If it's an abstract noun, you pluralize it. So symptoms, tests, hours, amounts, etc. But that aside, that's not bad at all, not bad. So that's like 5 there. So now there's only 3 of you here. So does anybody have any questions that you want to ask? Anybody got any questions? I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to save this. Anybody got any questions? So what you can do, you can either type your question, you can raise your hand and I'll turn your microphone on. You can do that. We've got a bit of time left. I'm not sure how much time, but if anybody's got any questions, now's the time to ask. There's only you and me, so if you've got any questions, now's the time. Either type them or I'll turn your microphone on. It's up to you. When to put, right, you don't put a period after Mr., Mrs. or Miss. You do put it after doctor, but not Mr., Mrs., Miss, Ms. Right? You don't put it after those. E2 and Swoosh have blog posts about this. You can take a look, but you don't put it for Mr., Mrs., Miss, or Ms. Doctor, Admiral, Captain, Superintendent, those abbreviations, yes, but not Mr., Mrs., Ms. That's just how it is. Okay. Any more questions? Any more? You can turn. I can turn your microphone on if you want. You can ask or you can type it. No? Okay, and right. That's if no one's got any questions, I'll end it here. I'll post this video as usual. I say it's a bit late notice, but I was busy all day and then I went out. I wasn't going to stay in the house all day like I did yesterday and Monday because I had a lot of work. So I thought I would make a session now. So I'll post this and I'll see you later.